Sanjay, the question starts right away. What's happened been in that one ball from Cummins to Rohit and then Boland in his 2 overs that has had India's openers befuddled?
Very impressed with the way Rohit Sharma started off. We were talking about a heavy diet of T20 cricket, but played every ball to perfection, left balls outside the off stump. A couple of pull shots that he would think, should he be playing? But because there was just one fielder, he was fancying his chances. So he looked good until Pat Cummins showed his class on a pitch that seemed to have nothing for him until then. Got that ball to nip back, and that is, what Pat Cummins will keep bringing in this test match. These kind of deliveries out of the blue, nipping back, pace as well. Surprising Rohit Sharma didn't maybe pick the length right. With Shubman Gill, I thought Boland for me was the pick of the bowlers, in the sense that every ball that he bowled was creating pressure on the batter, and that again was Shubman Gill getting into a good position, but still not certain whether to play that ball or leave it, because he wasn't, I guess, comfortable in putting the bat there, because he wasn't quite to the pitch of the ball. Just a great line that was bowled. I don't think the ball jagged back too much, but a couple of good balls really from 2 good bowlers.
Length, Brad Haddin spoke in depth about it yesterday after the first session, but length did the trick.
Yeah, length was the key. We see when the Rohit Sharma, he started with a great intent, but it was Pat Cummins just went a little bit wider on the crease, got the ball to hit the seam and come back and get Rohit Sharma. LBW was looking very good, and Gill. What I liked about that dismissal there, we've seen Mitchell Starc start with 2 overs, wasn't quite getting the ball where Paddy Cummins would have liked, brought Boland back into the attack, and the one thing he did do, he made the Indian batsman play. He aimed at that off stump and got the reward with the big wicket of Shubman Gill.
Compare now what Pat Cummins did with his bowling attack with what India did. Shami and Siraj started off. Siraj bowled well. Shami wasn't quite getting his line right, but he still bowled about 6 overs. That first spell of Shami was 6. Here, Mitchell Starc bowled, a couple of overs, and he got Boland in because he was just the right candidate for, what was needed on that pitch at that time. You had a batter out leg before, the other one bowled, which meant that you bowled that length where the ball was going on to hit the stumps and not sail over the stumps or beat the batter. And that, again, is a learning from maybe what India did in the first, or maybe Australia was always going to be bowling this length. Yeah,
we tend to look at bowlers who perhaps are bowling in England for the first time and think, can they adapt? But it seems like Scott Boland's been bowling in England all his life, Brad?
Yeah, Scott Boland's natural length will be really effective in England. He doesn't give up the stumps a lot. He just gets enough off the seam. And the one thing he does do, he just bowls that length where you're not sure whether to go forward or back. And we've seen that with Gill's dismissal. He wasn't quite sure whether he needs to play the ball or leave it, but Scott Boland, we've seen for some time now since he's come into Test cricket, he owns those stumps. He just gets enough to create enough doubt in the batsman's mind. But it was a good ball. He went a little bit wider on the crease, just used the seam a little bit. And it's been a really good start by Cummins and Boland with that new ball.
Pace, if at all, Brad, from the first 10 overs, is there a reason that Australia's bowlers seem to have bowled more, or at least between Boland and Cummins, have bowled more wicket taking or balls that have asked questions? Rohit Sharma looked like he was hurried. Has the pace told you anything about the difference between both bowling attacks with the new ball?
Yeah, I see Paddy Cummins' pace was up. He's up around 140 Ks, but it's also an uncomfortable session there for India. Australia knew they only had a short period of time to play. They could go out all-out attack, and that's exactly what they did. They attacked the stumps. The one thing they both did, they both found their own length. They found their natural length hitting the stumps. And it's a bit different for both bowlers. Paddy Cummins likes to use the crease. He comes tight. We'll see him come a lot wider to Virat Kohli and try to get that ball to go away to first slip and the wicketkeeper. But they both found their natural length really quick, and that was hitting the top of the stumps.
All right. Well, this is a forgettable first 5 sessions, you think, for Rohit Sharma, who had so much to play for and look forward to as captain of India in a World Test Championship final. But let's just wrap up the Australia innings too, and perhaps have a chat on Rohit's captaincy as a result. Now, Jadeja got a big wicket of Alex Carey. He wasn't introduced all day and for a long time. Just the use of his bowlers. India were in the field for a labouring 121 overs. Could have been longer, But we already bring up the point with Brad says and you say of how Pat Cummins was a little more proactive in the introduction of Scott Boland. So it's not been Rohit Sharma getting a lot right this test. How do you rate his captaincy?
You can say that, starting with the controllables, which is picking the playing 11. I would have had Ishan Kishan as the X factor, which I've maintained, going one spinner short. Even if the pitch was going to be a green top, I think 3 seamers would have been still a good way to go, because at some point with the weather forecast, the spinners will start coming into the game. Jadeja got an important wicket, and once again, DRS, that is how you get wickets through spinners. Carey's wicket was a review, so that was slightly disappointing. Apart from that, stuck to convention, didn't do anything out of the box, and some things that surprised us, like the bouncers didn't come at all in the first session, couple of hours of the first test match, bowling on a green top. And here you had Mitchell Starc bowling the first ball bouncer, and then the bouncer started coming in the second half. Today there was a lot there happening, so India's a bit late on doing the thing that had to be done much earlier.
Are we expecting this bowling attack and the surface to ask serious questions of them? Sanjay, final session?
Well, I'm staying with current reality and not by reputation or stature of batters, and I think Australia have got a very important wicket in Rohit Sharma. And just the way he played in that little session as well, he's your batter in form at the test level, and after that Pujara. So Pujara is still out there. Still, when you look at it, the pitch, when you start playing well, start getting into good positions, doesn't look that difficult pitch, but just watching that Cummins delivery, you'll keep getting those. Another thing that you also see, and might be the difference between the two bowling sides, is the height factor, at which height the ball comes and then goes into the pitch, versus somebody who's coming at a different lower point release. You just get different reactions from the pitch, so that might make a little bit of a difference. Boland as well. These are going to be stronger bowlers, coming constantly at the Indian batters, and might just get a little more from the surface than the Indian bowlers who bowl with a lot of heart, but naturally maybe there's a little more of an advantage for the bigger, stronger guys. I'm seeing a little bit of a change in Virat Kohli, the batter, in the last few months. For a long time, we saw Virat Kohli commit to front foot play. Like Labuschagne, standing outside the crease, taking a big stride forward, is something that is believed being his game, and he's got a lot of success doing that. But off late, that has hampered him from scoring a little quicker. We've seen guys who play off the back foot score a bit more freely. So I'm seeing Virat Kohli now trying to maybe just play a little from the crease. He stands outside the crease, but there's a back foot trigger movement that takes him closer to the stumps. So just a little adjustment that he's made, which is a good one. You don't want to be a front foot player no matter what, especially against these guys. So I hope that just helps his cause a little bit, because when he gets onto the front foot, no matter what, his strike rate drops to 30 and 40. We saw that happen in South Africa, and eventually, being an attacking player, there comes a time when he reaches a score of 40 or 50, and it's taken so much time to get there that one error creeps in and he gets outside. I just wish that he would use a little more of what Steve Smith and the others have done. Play the ball a little late and make his life easy. He used to do that earlier. I'm not asking him to do something that he's never done before.
जिस पे नाम सिर्फ एक का हो,
लेकिन हो पूरे देश के नाम।
उस चीज को हाउ डू आई डिस्क्राइब इट? इस जर्सी के लिए मेरे फीलिंग समझाना इम्पॉसिबल है,
पर इसे पहन के
I feel just one thing, impossible
इज नथिंग।